Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with the practice questions for the day, we have an announcement. BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS would be launching a national scholarship test on 20th of November 2022. This will be held at 11 a.m. So what is that you have to do? Follow the link given in the description box. Give the necessary information and you would stand a chance of winning some attractive scholarships. Let's get started and look into the first question. Consider the following pairs. We have the sari on one side, the state it is weaved on the other side. Chanderi, Madhya Pradesh, Jamdani, Dakkai, West Bengal, Paitani, Maharashtra, Patola, Gujarat. How many pairs given above are correctly matched? The answer to this is all four pairs. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to Pathan Patola. Let us try and understand what are these statements. When you look into the first one, Chanderi, yes, is weaved in Madhya Pradesh. When you look at Jamdani Dakai, it is made in West Bengal. Paitani is made in the state of Maharashtra and Patola sari is from the state of Gujarat. There are many other different types as well. We have the Ashwali sari from Gujarat, Baluchuri sari from West Bengal, Banarasi sari from Uttar Pradesh, Batik sari from West Bengal, Chanderi sari from Madhya Pradesh, Dharmavaram sari from Andhra Pradesh, Garaj sari from West Bengal, Ilkal sari from Karnataka, Kalamkari sari from Andhra Pradesh, Kanchipuram sari from Tamil Nadu, Kasavu sari from Kerala, Mangalagiri from Andhra Pradesh, Paitani from Maharashtra, Sambalpuri sari from Orissa. These are some of the unique waves in different states of our country. When we speak about Patan Patola, this happens to be an ancient art of double ikat or patola woven in silk dates back to 11th century, and patola fabrics bear an equal intensity of colors and design on both sides, a quality that has its origins in the intricate technique of knot dyeing bandhani. So remember, Patan Patola is weaved in the state of Gujarat. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to Kartar Singh Sarabha, which of the following statements are correct? Kartar Singh was a key member of Ghadar party. He was sent to trial in the Lahore conspiracy case. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is both. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to Kartar Singh Sarabha. Let us try and understand some of the key facts with respect to Kartar Singh Sarabha. He happened to be an Indian revolutionary. He was about 15 years of old when he became a member of the Ghadar party. This Ghadar party was formed by the Indians in the Oregon in 1913. Why? Because they wanted to throw the British outside India. So putting their heart and soul into it, they wanted to come up with a revolutionary force. He was part of that revolutionary force. Kartar Singh was made in charge of bringing out Punjabi language edition of Ghadar, which happened to be the mouthpiece of the party, and ultimately he was sent to trial with other Gadrites at Lahore in what came to be known as the Lahore conspiracy case. So the second statement is right and the first statement is also right, and at the age of 19 he was hanged by the British authority. Because he was hanged just at the age of 19, he also became an inspiration for number of people. His bravery, activism and commitment to the cause of the freedom of Indians were heroic, and as a result he became a source of inspiration and courage for number of freedom fighters in India. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following are the books written by Swami Dayananda Saraswati? Satyartha Prakash, Sanskara Vidhi, Rigveda Bhashyam, Vedic Chronology and Ved Ganga Jyotishya. The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to Swami Dayananda Saraswati. Let us try and understand some of the important facts when it comes to Swami Dayananda Saraswati. When it comes to Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he was born as Mool Shankar Tiwari. Dayananda was a prolific reformer of the Hindu religion. He was born into a well-to-do family to a tax collector named Karanji Lalji Kapadia and his wife Yashoda Bai. He spent 25 25 years as a wandering ascetic, traveled to the Himalayas and other religious places in northern India. He also started practicing yoga. His teacher in all things spiritual was Virajnan Dandesha. So remember, this can be very important from the preliminary examination point of view. He preached against the giving of donations to the priests. He extolled spiritualism and nationalism and appealed to the people to fight for Swarajya. He exhorted the importance of cows for the prosperity of the nation, encouraged the adoption of Hindi for a national integration. He stressed on the importance of education of all children, preached respect and equal rights for women as well. He founded the Arya Samaj in 1875. Through his reform movement, he stressed on one God, rejected idol worship. He also advocated against the extolled position of priests in Hinduism. He also opposed the multiplicity of castes. He also established Vedic schools for the education of girls and boys for all castes, and Arya Samaj led a prolonged movement against untouchability and advocated the dilution of caste distinctions as well. What were his contributions to literature? He wrote many books. His major contribution is the Satyartha Prakash. Other books include Sanskar Vidhi, Rigveda Bhashyam, so on and so forth. As part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section, the Vedic chronology and Vedanga Jyotisha was written by which freedom fighter? Please put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following are the objectives of Artemis missions? Demonstrate new technologies, capabilities, and business approaches needed for future exploration, including Mars. Broaden the commercial and international partnership of NASA. Inspire a new generation and encourage careers in STEM. Study the moon to learn more about the origin and history of Earth, the moon, and our solar system. Which of the following are the objectives of Artemis missions? The answer to this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to the Artemis. This happens to be one of the missions of NASA, and NASA's new moon rocket blasted off on its debut flight with 3 test dummies abroad, bringing the US a step closer to putting astronauts back on the lunar surface for the first time since the end of the Apollo program 50 years ago. How does the Artemis 1 mission work? The Orion spacecraft and the Space Launch System rocket is launched from the Kennedy Space Center. Orion will orbit moon about 43,000 miles above the lunar surface. In preparation for the splashdown, the crew module will separate from the service module. The crew capsule will splash down in the Pacific Ocean with the help of the parachute on its way to the moon. The mission will deploy 10 small research satellites, also called as the CubeSats. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. DNA barcoding can be a tool to assess the age of a plant or animal, distinguish among species that look alike, identify undesirable animal or plant materials in processed foods. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 2 and 3. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2022. So when you speak about barcoding, what is it? This will basically help in identification of the species, basically making use of a short section of a DNA from a specific gene. So from a specific gene, DNA is extracted, and this will help in identification of the species. So DNA barcoding is nothing but a method of species identification using a part of the DNA from a gene. When we speak about DNA barcoding, it is not used for assessing the age of a plant or an animal. Why? Because what we make use of is radiometric dating of uranium and the isotopes of other radioactive elements. So the first statement is wrong. When you look into the second statement, yes, distinguish among species that look alike. This can be detected by making use of the DNA barcoding and identify undesirable animal or plant material in processed food. This can also be done by DNA barcoding. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2022. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is old pension scheme. Let us try and understand what is this all about. We have two types of schemes. One is what is called as the old pension scheme. The other is what is called as the new pension scheme. What is this old pension scheme? Let me give you an example. Let's say we have a government officer, a person who's working for the central government, or he can be working for the state government as well. Let's say this person is drawing a salary of about 10,000. Out of this 10,000 that he is drawing, let's say at the age of 60 years, he is drawing the maximum salary of 10,000. So for a month, he is drawing a maximum salary of 10,000. So what is this old pension scheme? So if a person is drawing 10,000 as his final drawn salary, his pension would be half of it. What is half of 10,000? It is 5,000. So 5,000 would be his pension after he is retired from the government service. So basically we have the government of India or respective states which would provide pension to the people who have served the government of India or the respective states. So when the government gives pension under the old pension scheme, a person would get half of the last drawn salary, which is called as the old pension scheme. When we look into the data, in 1990 to 1991, the centre's pension bill was 3,272 crore, and the outgo for all states put together was about 3,131 crore. By 2020 and 21, the centre's bill had jumped 58 times to 1,90,886 crore. For states, it had shot up 125 times to rupees 3,86,001 crore. What does this mean? All the revenue that the government is generating, nearly 15%, 20%, 25%, and in some states more than 50% is going for the pensions of the people. So if the revenue that is generated is going for the pensions of the people who serve the state governments or the central governments, where will the central government or the state government spend for other social reform measures? This is where the article goes on to say, as of now we have the new pension scheme which was initiated back in the year 2004. So many states are considering going back to the old pension scheme from the new pension scheme. Now if you look into the data, let me give you the numbers. We have the pension which is in red, and we also have the tax revenues that the state generates. For the state of Andhra Pradesh, it is about 21.63%. Whatever is the tax generated by the state of Andhra Pradesh, about 21% goes for paying the pensions of the people. The rest 79% goes for other infrastructure, social reform, so on and so forth. Now let me give you a number in the state of Bihar. For Bihar, it is 58.90%. So more than 50% that the revenue that is being generated by the state in Bihar is ultimately spent on the pensions of the people. This means that the state government has very little money to spend for the infrastructure and other schemes and programs. So this article currently goes on to say, if this continues and if states switch to the old pension scheme, then the taxpayers would only be funding the pensions of the people, and there will not be much money left out with the government of India as well as with the respective state governments. In fact, there were also employees who had also written to the cabinet secretary as well. They also did not like the new pension scheme. They also wanted the old pension scheme as well. So there have been number of employees and state governments who are also considering to go back to the old pension scheme. Now the question is, what is the difference between old pension scheme and the new pension scheme? The new pension scheme was introduced from 2004. So whoever joined the government of India, and for those states who have adopted the new pension scheme, it will be implemented as per their dates, and for the central government it is from 2004. How does it work? We have the government of India's employees. Let's say for example there is a person who's drawing a salary of about 1 lakh. He is an employee of government of India. He is drawing a salary of about 1 lakh. This person's 10% monthly income, that is about 10,000, would be taken out and will be put up in one of the funds, and an equivalent amount 10,000 rupees will also be given by the central government. So all the savings that is done with the interest will be given as the pension. So this will be cumulatively collected for about 30 years, 25 years, how many years that person is working, and ultimately this would be paid out. So the advantage with old pension scheme is that these people need not had to contribute, and they used to get 50% of the last earned salary. Here they would not know how much salary they would be getting, and at the same time they also will have to make the contributions. This is good for the government, but this is not good for the employees because they would be getting very less salary. So this is the conflict between the old pension scheme and the new pension scheme. As part of the assignment, you put on the comment section, what do you think? You're also preparing for the civil services. You would also be drawing the pension in the near future as well. So if you were given an option that you would want the new pension scheme or the old pension scheme, which would you choose for? Please put it on the comment section. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.